Okay. Hello and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Welcome to hopefully a good stream. Hopefully a stream which is productive. Because again, we're doing this live, right? And things when it relates to tech and live, are flaky. And you know me with my quiz. But welcome to the stream. This is hopefully the first of many Clawbot or OpenClaw as it is now, as you can clearly see on the screen. Streams. Now, I kind of want to not pivot content, but when we did the stream of Yikes, it spawned a really good idea, which I'd never thought of, and especially streaming on Binance, which is doing, tech content. And again, not just doing like sewing, I'm going to start sewing a jumper, and it's not related to crypto in the slightest. Doing content obviously related to crypto, but in different fields. And one of the biggest things currently, or as of a while ago, again, tech crypto Twitter versus tech Twitter. Tech crypto Twitter is always late to everything, right? So OpenClaw is still, it's not as big as it was when it first came out. Crypto people, we've clearly missed the wave for OpenClaw for normal Twitter. I think crypto Twitter, it's still going on. It's not that big, but I still wanted to do the content anyway because for people out there who saw OpenClaw, saw the things it can do, which obviously we'll be showing in this video. This, or I should say stream. This won't be too much of a super techie one. I don't want to try and make this too complicated. I do have a virtual machine setup, which is actually what you can see if I alt-tab. What you can see I'm currently in right now. This isn't actually my computer. It's actually a kind of virtual computer where I'll be setting this up. Sandbox, because that is one of the most important things I will talk about. Before we get into the setup of it, because I haven't actually set this up yet because I wanted to do it live. And obviously, like I said, live setups can be, flaky as things are normally, but we'll do it live. All right, it doesn't matter to us. We're professional. I probably should have something bottom right, but I should probably put a title there. But it's going to look really amateurish if I put a title there now as the stream is live. So I'm not going to do that. But I could do it because no one's here yet. So I might do that really quickly. Put a nice little title. All right, ignore what's happening. Let's get a little title. Let's just call it. See, smooth as anything. It's like you never saw anything happen. It's like you never saw. It's like nothing happened, right? Let's pretend nothing happened. So we're gonna the agenda for today. I probably should have an agenda on the right hand side of the screen, but I want to keep the screen as bare as possible so you can actually see what I'm doing. I don't want too much on the screen because this can be quite intense for people who haven't set this up before. Now, this isn't going to be a one-stop shop, done and dusted thing, right? There has to be some sort of technical value, right? If you've never done anything before in your life techie, this might be quite hard. I will not lie. I would advise not to run this on your main PC. Again, I know some people have bought, if I alt-tab, the Mac Mini. This is a big thing people have bought to... I don't know why that's pirate logo. That's interesting. This is a thing people have bought across the board. People have used this as their kind of hub for Clawbots or OpenClaw. I keep on, even though I know the name is OpenClaw, I can't help saying Clawbot. Anyways, I know a lot of people have used this as their main hub. Now, again, people kind of lie. A lot of people lie on the internet. Now, I won't lie, obviously. The Mac Mini at $599 will not be able to run a one-stop shop for OpenClaw. People have made this out on Twitter. I can see my face is really bright. Hopefully it's not garish on the screen. It's cold in my room. I'm shivering a bit. It's making my voice sound weird. People have said, oh yeah, I've got the Mac Mini and I'm running OpenClaw on the Mac Mini. It's not that easy, right? It's not you just buy this $600 machine, especially in today's economy with RAM. This is, bargain, right? It's not quite that simple. The computing power to run an AI model. I have a good gaming PC here, right? It's got a good GPU. Now, I have hopefully correctly routed, like if we, I'll do it later on actually. I have routed my main PC's AI. I run it locally. I don't do too much AI myself. I have it running locally because I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend money, on a Claude. I don't want to do this. I have it running locally, so I can run it all locally myself. This PC, right? This is a lot bigger than that Mac Mini. right? There's a lot more fans. There's a lot more GPU power. So just prefacing it, you can't just buy a Mac Mini and that's the be-all end-all. You're gonna have to go to let's go to well, actually, I probably should go to. Whoops. You have to go buy a subscription to an online AI hosting area. If I go to pricing, for example, this is what you'd expect to see. So you have plans here. Will it show me all the plans, or it's going to show me one plan at a time? Oh, it's going to show me one plan at a time. I don't want to show one plan at a time. It's going to take way too long to talk about. I just want to bring this, because this is the main one people use. Again, the name Claude bot, now OpenClaw. This comes from Claude, which is a very big... There's a few big dogs in AI and vibe coding, and the main one, Claude, is kind of the main one. Now, we did talk quite a while ago to compute-free AI. So this is a throwback, to those guys. If you did watch that in the trenches, I think it was very good in the trenches. You can go full crypto related to this. Now, we will talk about some of these tweets I've brought up in a bit about what you can do with Claude. And again, it's quite endless. But you could go to Compute for AI and use them as their API, because with AI, the API endpoints, or the way AI talks to each other, the way you can talk to it, it's very unified. So you don't have to use Claude. You can go and find your own providers. Again, this is built for, it was Claude bot, it's now OpenClaw. Claude's or Anthropic is the people who made this. It's kind of like the basis for these. Now, I do need to set some up for OpenClaw to run, so hopefully we can do that successfully later. But if not, we'll just talk about OpenClaw for this stream anyway. Again, I do plan to do more streams in the future which show off some more capabilities of OpenClaw. But again, this is kind of the main area. Now, I really overview. I don't know how I missed that. This is the one people use. This is the big dogs, right? So you can go buy little ones. You can do really small stuff free. Again, a lot of places have free hosting of this. So, for example, there's OpenCode. You can probably go nab their API. If you look up OpenCode, they have a lot of AI providers. They normally have a free tier, or they have something like that. So you can try this without any sort of money. Now, once you have your AI sorted, you don't need that. I don't believe, not technical advice. You don't need that much computing power to run something like this. You would want some sort of computing power. Now, again, the Mac Mini is pretty good, especially for the price. Is very good. Now, this is why people buy the Mac Mini, because for the price, the computing power you get is very, very, very impressive. But it's not going to host your AI, so you will need to, let's say, pay for a Mac Mini and also pay for a plan for Claude. You can do OpenAI, you can do ChatGPT if you wanted to. Gemini, there's probably maybe Grok, I'm not too sure about that actually. But the main one people use is Claude. You could do Claude. But obviously related to crypto, you can go to Compute for AI. You could use crypto and stake tokens and get it for free in that regard. So there is different ways you can do this, because again, the way AI and the APIs are hosted, it's a unified system. So you don't have to just use one provider like Claude. You can go to any other provider. So from that, again, you can do the $0, the $17 one. The $100 is obviously the main one people buy, the maxi one. What I will say though is have been some people talk about the token usage of OpenClaw, and it's quite high. Now again, this is why I like to host it locally, because I'm privileged to have the opportunity to do that. Again, I don't use AI too much myself. I'm obviously I do exactly. I'm cold. It's really cold in this room. I'm shivering. I do want to get into OpenClaw on streams. This is why I wanted to make this a series, because I think it's very cool to show you guys how to relate this to trading, how to relate this to crypto, and see what we can do with OpenClaw related to trading. Nonetheless, though, I have it hosted locally, so I don't have to worry about tokens. I don't have to worry about this right now. And if you are obviously in that situation, then I will hopefully show how you kind of do this with OpenClaw and how you host your own AI to use with OpenClaw. So we'll see how it goes. Again, it's murky waters with that, but we'll get there when we get there. So that's kind of one of the main concerns out the way for this. You will need to pay for your own AI hosting, because the Mac Mini, it's not cutting it. I'm sorry to say, it's not cutting it. Unless you want, Patrick the Starfish, his main as an instrument, drooling out his mouth, I point in different directions, you could maybe host it locally. There is another thing, that's not how you spell it, Air LLM. Now, I'm starting to get a bit techie here. This is for the techie people. There is something called GitHub. Now, you may have heard of GitHub before. If you're looking for training bots, this might look scary. There was that meme. There is this meme. It was pretty funny. And I can understand some of you guys might relate to this meme. Some people don't like GitHub. Some people don't like code. And that's perfectly fine. There is going to be a point in your life, if you're trying to use something like OpenClaw, where, you know, some code might get involved, some scary code. Now, we can try our best to avoid that. Again, we will go through these steps. We will read the OpenClaw website in a second, but there might be a point where you get to some scary code. And this is why I'm pointing out AirLLM. This isn't a very efficient. I'm going to talk about it really quickly. I know I'm kind of going off topic here before we get onto OpenClaw main website and setting it up. This meme, I do find it funny. You just want an exe, you just want to download it and run it. You know, you don't want to do this. So I thought I'd preface that. I understand people don't want to do this. And if you aren't someone who wants to get involved with installing extra things and reading documents, then, you know, close your ears quickly. This is a option if you don't have a lot of computing power and don't want to pay for plans and want to try and host it locally. You potentially can use AirLLM. This is basically an engine or an inference system. I don't exactly know the right phrasing, but basically you can. So basically, quantization is basically how dumbed down is the AI model. So if you go, okay, I'm sorry, I'm really going off. So this is Hugging Face is where you get your models. This is for local AI hosters only. If you're not a local AI hoster, you know, go get a bottle of water and come back. It's going to take a minute or two. Again, this is where you download. You might have heard, if you're someone who's slightly techy and you're just trying to get into AI, you might have heard of Hugging Face before. This is where you can download the models, and you might know about floating point. There's 8, there's 16, there's 32. That this is basically the intensity of the model. The bigger these numbers, the bigger the model's going to be. Also, there is quantization, which is basically, I believe, how floating points how because let's say you've got a number 1.2692642 whatever. There's like 32 bits in this the 32 decimal places in this number. This is very intense direct data, because all an AI model are numbers, right? And quantization is kind of in the same field of optimization. This is going off topic though. What this does, what this tries to do, is run this in a way where it uses different utilizes different resources on your computer and slower, albeit resources on your computer, to host these models. This is maybe not the option. This is quite slow, but if you do want to host it yourself, this is an option if you don't have the computing power. This is what I want to preface with. But all these words moved on. I can close this and we can move on. Okay, so that's the AI out of the way. We'll get involved now. So again, the Mac Mini, whatever. So, OpenClaw, the actual meat of the stream. Again, this is I want these streams to be aimed towards educating, not just on OpenClaw, but usage of AI, hopefully as simply as possible. I am currently aware of how many words I'm saying and how simple none of this is probably sounding. So again, this is I will preface, as I've already prefaced, this might get a bit techy. Not super tech. Again, if you're someone who's looked at GitHub a few times and maybe gone to Hugging Face to have a little glance, it probably isn't anything too complicated, but I'm aware this can be complicated. Anyways, the setup of OpenClaw is very simple though. This is a bonus for people who just want to get it set up, because again, the overlap between people who want to AI code and the setup, I don't agree with, because the people who want to just use vibe coding and vibe code stuff, they're not going to want to get involved with actually doing anything technical. Or any involved setup, which is completely fine. Again, people don't want to, lawyers want to, people who are in a different field. I wouldn't want to have the law book put in front of me and have to read it all if I wanted to do anything, right? So I get that. But again, there's a better setup, and there's not really a massive optimization until now with OpenClaw, where you can't just run a one-stop shop thing. Apart from Olama, which is another thing, which is what I'm actually using, which is very inefficient, but is easy. This is another easy thing for local hosters. You can literally just download Olama and then download the models through Olama. I'm using GPT OSS 20 billion, I believe. So, for example, or you can use Ollama to set up OpenClaw. I'm not doing that because I want to show the setup of it. But you can use Ollama as well to host your models. It's not as efficient, and I'm completely aware of that as well. It's really it's the most inefficient way to host it. There's the LLM, for example, which is the this is harder to set up. I haven't really been for it in a while, but this is a harder setup, but it gives you the most customization in how you host your AI models to make it as optimized as possible. Ollama is like the Apple. It's like the Apple of hosting, right? You know, Apple, they make your life easy, right? They try and make your life as easy as possible. You might not be able to do as much, you know. It's not a hacky thing, you know. I'd say VLLM is like the Linux of computing. This is like the Apple, easy. You buy it and you use it. That's that simple. Same with this. You install this, and then you can install your own. You can install it through here. If I go to models quickly, you can literally grab AI models straight from Ollama, and it'll install it via their system. Easy as pie, right? So this is a place you want to go if you don't want to get involved too much. Ollama. Anyways. Going through here now, we'll get the technical stuff out of the way, but with OpenClaw and obviously AI as a whole, you can vibe code. You've heard this before, vibe coding. So some of the stuff we'll try to go through in the later streams as well, when we try and use this functionally, is going to be trying to vibe code stuff. Now again, I have tried to vibe code stuff before to not that much success because I can't be asked. Because AI, it's not quite there yet. Again, I'm not using Claude. Claude's probably banging, right? Claude's probably the best. I don't use it. I don't want to spend the money. I'd rather do it myself, right? I'd rather do it myself for free, take a bit longer than, you know what I mean? But the AI local models I've tried, it's all right. It's not great. But, you know, in terms of local hosting, we're probably not to the point yet of supreme coding. But we'll try. And again, you guys might have had your own experience with vibe coding. And it's not too bad. Again, you see on Twitter, people doing certain things. It's mostly websites, you know, it's mostly familiar web websites. So we can do some stuff, but that's what's interesting about OpenClaw. And this is before I get into the installation, I want to get through as much as possible in terms of, you know, why OpenClaw, what does it kind of do before we get to the installation. So we will go through the websites more in a second. But this is what's really nice about OpenClaw is it's self-iterative, right? It's got this brain system. It kind of records conversations, which kind of makes sense. It records conversations, and and this is why people complain about the token usage of OpenClaw, right? Because not only is it just talking to you and operating, right? Because if it just spoke to you, didn't do anything else, it would be dumb, right? It would be stupid. But it does so much more than just talk to you. It operates on the data it provides you, and you give it. And it kind of builds its own brain. And we'll look at the file structure in a second when we install OpenClaw and see what you can kind of look at when you go to it. Because again, I'm 19 minutes into the stream and I'm trying to barrel through this. And you know what I mean? I need to fill the hour time. And we might go over an hour, to be fair, depending on how complex this gets. Check the YouTube chat actually, see what's going on. I see. I should probably say hello to Kishan. Shout out to you. Hello to you. Hidden Agendas here. Thank you guys for joining. Let's see on Binance Square. Hello to you guys on Binance Square. So that's not very good. Let's see. Advance, Janat, Despina, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys for joining the stream. Hopefully this isn't getting too complex as of right now. Let me have a little sip of. I need to have a drink because, you know, I'm getting all these words out. I need to lumber, not lumber. No, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Anyways, what's cool about OpenClaw is it's self-generative, right? And this is, you know, vibe coding, all sorts of stuff. You can ask it, can you? I mean, I could probably find something on X, to be fair. Hopefully, maybe. Hopefully, there's nothing, some crazy stuff on my homepage. Perfect. I'm trying to think of the example. I should have got this up before the stream. I'm thinking, basically, there was an example I want to show in particular, just because I know it's a good example. No, this isn't it. Okay, no, this isn't it. I don't think this is it. Oh, where is it, please? I just want it to be simple. Basically, there's an example of somebody wanted to. I can't remember the exact reason they wanted to do it, but basically they wanted OpenClaw to phone somebody and talk to them. I can't remember what it was exactly. But basically, there was no OpenClaw. It doesn't come with that functionality. It doesn't just come with everything you can think of in terms of functionality. It accepted this prompt from the user. It then went and vibe coded its own text-to-speech system using Whisper AI or 11 Labs, whatever it was exactly, and then it used its own generation in its own functionality to then talk to somebody. So this is what's quite cool about OpenClaw, and I think this is why it's so good for people. Oh yeah, this is interactive. This is you can ask questions, right? Again, I'm not the Gandalf of OpenClaw. I'm not the Gandalf of AI vibe coding, right? I'm just, in terms of, I reckon, this is a wild assumption on Binance Square. I'm going to take a wild shot in the dark. Anybody on Binance Square, and I don't want to inadvertently throw shade at anybody, but this stream is probably going to be the most. I'm probably going to be the most able to talk about to this stuff, right? Because I program a lot, right? I'm obviously we have technical analysis, we have the channel, I do this off stream. A lot of my time is taken up with programming. Like obviously we have the game, there's self projects I have anyways. I know this stuff, right? So in terms of the stream you're going to have on Binance Square, this is probably going to be the most able stream on Binance Square. So again, if you're someone who is interested or has seen OpenClaw before and thought, oh, this guy's trading with OpenClaw, I wonder how that works. You can ask. I can talk about it. So yeah, this is the main thing. Again, I wasn't expecting that. This is the first stream. I'm not expecting a lot of people to be coming to this and barreling down questions and all that sort of stuff. But again, if you do have a question, and I will periodically look at the chat. I'm trying to go through the opening of OpenClaw. But if I see your chat and I see a question, I will try and answer it. Nonetheless, though, this is what's nice about OpenClaw, and this is why I believe so many people, especially in crypto, have picked up on OpenClaw, and why you guys might be interested in it, because it can self-iterate on itself, right? It can develop its own systems, vibe coding, and then use it, because it's not just a dumb terminal. You don't just ask it a question and it gives you an answer. It can operate. It can make it's something called cron jobs, which is basically operations which happen at a certain time of the day, right? Like at 8 a.m. You can say, OpenClaw, can you make me a cron job, or can you at 8 a.m. every morning, can you start up my coffee machine and make me a coffee? If it can discover your coffee machine, it has a discovery of this. It can do it. Let me find the example actually. I'm trying to think of. Here it is. I don't think it's this one. This is just an example of Claude Code. Yeah, so for example, this is maybe a naff example. This isn't it. Here it is. Yeah, this is the one I want to talk about. Because basically, so this is the kind of example of the connectivity, between, Claude and vibe coding versus, what you can do hardware-wise. So this printer obviously was discoverable to the laptop. This person was able to ask, and I know it's in Claude Code, but this is OpenClaw, same field as Claude Code, kind of same ideology, but a bit more higher up in terms of it's got this brain function, it's got its own functionality. So that just prefacing that. But with Claude Code, which is kind of OpenClaw is an operation on top of that, it was able, once prompted, probably a few times, to contact the printer, understand its kind of communication schema, if you will, kind of reverse engineer this, and then send out a request to print this paper. If you can read this, your printer's working. So this is an example of, it's not able to just generate a website for you, generate a random script. It can do a lot of advanced things you might have ever thought of, right? A lot of people I can understand, maybe not being very interested, but interested in Internet of Things, I believe it is, where coffee machines, you can talk to your coffee machine from your computer and make it do something, right? So you can probably ask OpenClaw, for example, as a random example. You set up your coffee mug the night before on the coffee machine. Ask OpenClaw, can you kind of make me a system where at 8 a.m. it sends out 2 shots of coffee and a creamer or whatever. Let's say that you've got a really advanced coffee machine. OpenClaw has the capability, again, you might need to prompt it a few times, to communicate on your local network with your coffee machine, understand the message system of how it can request for that, reverse engineer this, and then test it. Obviously, you got to do some testing. It probably will send out quite a few copies before it gets it right, but this is capable. And this is why I think it's so cool. I think why people think it's so cool. And this is why it's so applicable in crypto, because people can go, oh yeah, generate me, make me a polymarket bot, which does this, that, the other, and trades Bitcoin and uses some RSI strategy and trade polymarket for me. OpenClaw, and we'll look at the, we can see it works with everything. We can see with integration, it has communication systems with quite a lot. And not only does it have certain individual things, it has webhooks, right? You can probably have it do, again, Chrome control. It can communicate with your browser and do anything it wants. There's probably a WebSocket integration as well with, Polymarket. So that's, a little taste of that. Again, I will get to it in a second. I know I'm yapping a lot, but I think this is valid for the education on what is the aim for this. Someone who has a slight bit of technical understanding. Again, I'm not teaching you how a computer works from day one. This will take 100 streams to do. The idea for this, as I've spoken so far, and again, people can watch this stream back, is to go from, I don't really know what OpenClaw is, I've heard it maybe once or twice on X, to then going, and in the end of the stream, hopefully going, oh, I can see why this is something people want to use, and how do I set up the basics of it? This is the goal for this stream, and obviously next stream, the stream before, stream after, we'll be testing it live. There will be some streams where it's not just going to be an education for you, it'll be education for me, where we'll be testing how much we can do with OpenClaw, and it relates to crypto, trade Bitcoin or whatever. This, whatever. Anyways, so like I said, there's a lot it can do. Slowly but surely getting onto the start. Again, I want to try to aim for maybe 60% of the stream being talking and then 20% doing. Again, we're nearly getting towards the halfway mark now, nearly about 2:30. So I think we're good. It feels like, again, when I do the charts, there's a lot of me looking at it and just drawing stuff and then commenting on it. But this is quite an involved stream. I'm talking constantly, education on the education level, not just looking at something on an opinion. So it's quite involved. So hopefully it's not too much for you guys. But skipping past quick start quickly, so we can talk about it a bit more and then go on to quick start. We want to look at this, and this is some more stuff it's interested in, or it's interesting in. It can run Mac, Windows, Linux. I'm currently on a virtual machine on Ubuntu because I thought Ubuntu would be the easiest to grasp, or the easiest to set up, because I normally use Arch. There's Omarchy, or Omarchy, I should probably say. It doesn't matter, but Ubuntu is the simplest one, right? You could do Ubuntu server. It doesn't really matter exactly. Some people might want to set up a VPS. Now, this is something else you could do. This might not be super secure. You'd have to, if you're going to be doing this, you would really want a really good port forwarding system, a really good IP firewall system. I'm going to get to it. Whoops. You can do this, for example. You could set up a VPS. Let's go Hostinger, for example. Or Host... It's not Hostinger, is it? Yeah, there's another one. There's a Oh, I forgot the name of it. There's tons, right? There's tons. Let's just go this one, for example. I don't know. This is random. Okay, $6.50 a month. So what you could do as well, if you didn't want to buy a Mac Mini, you didn't want to use any of your local computers because you're using them, and you wanted something 24/7 hosted, this is another option. Now, I know I'm going back a bit in the stream. You can use a virtual machine. Oh, not virtual machine. A virtual server, which is obviously a VPS, virtual private server. This is a pretty economic option, I would argue. You don't need super GPU. If you wanted to host the AI model on a VPS and do OpenClaw, you would need quite a heavy machine, right? But you'd need, if we look at, let's say pricing, if we look at the options you get. Okay, this isn't. What's it called? I don't. Maybe you guys. There's not many in chat that. VPS hosters. I don't remember the name. There's a really good one, or it's really cheap. It's these guys. I think. Alright, let's go. Oh, we don't. We don't want this. We just want like virtual private server. We don't want a actual dedicated server. We just want something simple. So okay, where's? Oh, here we go. Perfect. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So we have certain parts a month. So we have different locations, obviously, and this is pretty optimum for what you wanted as well, or not what you wanted, for what you might want in terms of you might want to host it closer to America, in Singapore, if you're in Asia, for example, Finland, Germany, kind of Europe area, depending on where you are exactly. If you're more north, you might want to go Finland or Germany, if you're more south, whatever. Or maybe the other way around. I'm not very good at my geography. So you can have this, obviously, cost optimized. There's different ones here. So, for example, you might not need a massive SSD, right? Your RAM, again, I don't know how much RAM it might take up. Let's say we might need 8 gig, 100 gig storage. How much would that be? Okay, that's 160. So €11 a month. It might, I don't know. It's not that bad. What about general purpose? How is that different from the other one? Wait. How's this? Oh, what's the difference of this? Wait, what's the difference? Am I stupid? Cost optimized, 8 gig AE, 20 terabyte, dedicated. Oh. This is a separate server. I'm stupid. Okay, that's probably why. I was wondering why the hell is 8 gig, 80 gig SSD, vCPU, 20 terabyte traffic, and then there's dedicated 8 AE and 20, and it's less virtual CPU. No, virtual. No, this is what? Okay, off topic. Ignore general purpose. Let's go cost optimized. Maybe it's limited capacity. Okay, whatever. You can get this one, for example. 80 gig SSD, not bad. You might not need that much. Depends on what you're doing with it. 8 gig RAM, I think, is decent. I don't think you need that much. I've got 8 gig. I've set up 8 gig on this virtual machine, so hopefully 8 gig's enough. vCPU, I've actually set up 4 CPU cores as well. So this is basically actually I've done 50 gig SSD on this virtual machine. So this is actually technically the same as the current virtual machine I have set up right now. It's about €5.50. Again, depending where you are in the world, might be better or worse. I don't know if it's different in Finland, or if we go regular performance Singapore, it might cost more or less, depending where you are, whatever. You find whatever you want. VPS is all the same. I'm yapping. You can use a VPS, get an Anthropic subscription, or get a free one, or go compute for AI and get their tokens and do whatever. You can do what you want. VPS is a good option. Anyway, nonetheless. And that's why I use Ubuntu, because you probably would want to use Ubuntu. Maybe desktop or server. I'm currently on desktop right now. You could do server as well on the VPS, which would be a good economic option if you didn't want to buy a Mac Mini, basically. So you can run it. Yeah, you run a machine. Again, one of the biggest concerns as well, not with cost, with OpenClaw, is also people's security. Now, there was quite an embarrassing thing where I believe it was the head of AI security at Meta or somewhere, and she was pretty stupid with how she set up OpenClaw. Now, I'm not going to be going through the super security settings of OpenClaw right now in this stream, because again, we're talking about OpenClaw. We're doing the very basic setup of this stream, but again, we'll be going in more detail as we continue with these streams. But you can set it up on your computer. I would advise to do something, at least a virtual machine. I wouldn't advise running this on your base PC. You can ask it a question, word it wrong. If you give it all the permissions it needs every single time, oh, can you just delete some of these files? It misinterprets what you've said. It deleted your whole computer. You now don't have a computer. You've lost your documents, right? That's probably the worst case scenario. That's probably very nightmarish. That's probably not realistic, but it can happen, and it has probably happened before. This is where it gets interesting. Any chat app. Talk to it on WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Signal, iMessage, works in DMs, and group chats. This is where it's interesting, because the guy who made this iterated upon, I believe, maybe Claude Code. I'm not sure exactly what it's, maybe just its own system. He basically wanted to make a system where it's basically like an internet thing. You can communicate it on any channel. You can literally go on your phone. Let's say you're out. Oh yeah, I don't know. Do this at the other on my computer. I don't know the example, but you can be out. Let's say you go on Discord or Telegram. You can talk to it and operate with it while you're out and walking, right? Or you're on your main PC. You've got your VPS. You don't have to go to VPS to talk to it. You can just be on your main PC. The VPS is in Singapore. Go on Discord. Hey, OpenClaw, can you just generate me this script quickly and give it back to me? Whatever. Or can you make a cron job to notify me in 2 hours on this Discord channel about picking up the dogs? There you go. You can do it. Simple. Easy. right? So that's kind of another main thing. And this is, again, what it does. This is kind of the main area of why it's so interesting. Persistent memory, like I was talking about, this is why people have complained before about the cost of it. Because it's not just a input-output. It's not just, it takes in your tokens of input and it gives you an answer. And that's it. It's got no memory. This saves all conversations. It saves everything. It also, every time it kind of has a conversation, I don't know exactly the interval or the exact system of this, but it re-looks back on things you've already talked about, re-looks back on the conversation you're currently having, and dumbs it down into, I believe it's called like Solder.md. We'll try and have a look at it in a second when we set this up quickly. It might have to be an extreme, depending on the time. But it basically builds itself like a mini little human, right? With its own little tiny little brain. Which I think is pretty cool. And this is, not too unique, because again, there are Claude.md. If you're on GitHub, often there is Claude.md in a lot of directories for Claude code to understand the project, but it's not exactly working as we have it here. Browser control. This is again, this is kind of where the functionality comes from. If you can have an AI bot which can do anything, you're going to want it to be able to control the browser. Now, I don't know the exact system of this. I don't know if it's a headless browser or if it controls a GUI browser. I don't think it would do that exactly. I think it's a headless browser. Or maybe it's a request system. But basically, you can make it go anywhere, any website. And again, it can extract any data. So it can read the screen. It can do anything with a browser. So again, this is where the functionality comes in, where not only can it generate things locally, it can go on any website and iterate on that. Like, you can maybe go to the X login screen and remake it, basically, right? And it can go to this website, or it can go to the X login page. It can scrape the HTML, CSS, JS of the login screen, and then rebuild it in React, let's say, if you're, whatever. So that's pretty cool. It can do a lot of things. And this is why we're seeing, we'll get to in a second, all these sort of cool things it can do. Full system access. So again, this is the security part of it. So, you can click it as well. I should probably be doing this. So full system access, it can read and write any files. It can run any command on a computer, execute anything on a computer, full access, or sandbox, like it says. So this is what I'd say. I would say give it full access, but only on a virtual machine. Don't give it full access on your own computer. There's a security part there. Also, don't port forward everything on your computer to the worldwide internet, because people, they can go and scan these IP addresses and try and find. And I've seen this as a probably find on X quickly. I should have got this before the stream, but I haven't thought about it. Things happen as I'm talking. I think of things. Let's just do that. Let's see. That might not be the best wording. No, this is probably not it. Let's just do that. See a shorthand. See if you can understand. Please. Okay, whatever. Just take my word for it. Okay. People were scanning IPs and pinging the ports of what OpenClaw operates on to see if there was any OpenClaw systems which had been port forwarded to anyone in the world and didn't have any sort of verification, didn't have any sort of passwords or anything. A lot of people, and this is the thing, there's a great overlap between people who don't exactly know what they're doing and setting up OpenClaw. And this is the security part of it. People were just balls to the walls, just flailing their bits out into the wind, just install OpenClaw and just let it out in the world. See me, look at me, I've got OpenClaw, come, finesse me. That's what they were doing, right? And that's not what you want to do, right? You don't want to just do that. So this is something we'll go over in later streams, hopefully, and how you exactly go about this sort of stuff. So again, this series, if you will, the goal of this is to kind of go from, I don't really know what I'm doing, I don't really know what you exactly use OpenClaw for, to, okay, I've seen a few things it can do. I now know exactly how to set my system up in a secure manner and in a proper manner, and, things like that, just how to do this properly, right? Skills and plugins. Now, this is, again, a very cool thing. Extensible. It's extensible. You can do a lot with it, but also you can operate on it. So, like, for example, maybe another stream, I'm making something. Maybe I'll make something on stream. I don't know. I've never done that before. I've never done a developer stream. People probably won't care, so I probably won't do it. But, you can code, probably Vide code as well if you wanted to. You can, and this is where the plugin idea comes from. It can even write its own. So, like I was saying, with it can make its own code and then use it. It can even write its own. So this is what skills are, right? So it can make its own stuff. There's also Claw Hub. So this is people who have made stuff, which is already good. So what is that? So for example, there's, let's see, summarize. You can make it summarize websites. Oh, summarize this article for me, and it'll give you back. What else is there? Weather, I guess. It can get the current local weather. Oh, how sunny is it outside? Oh, it's this sunny. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is the cool stuff. You know, so it's extensible. And again, what's great with open source is there's a lot of other people who like open source, and people make stuff in open source, right? So you get people who maybe are vibe coding stuff, but also for the love of the game, you know, they like to iterate upon things as a community, which is a very nice, wholesome thing. So there's tons of just even outside of the current functionality of OpenClaw, you can get so many stuff. You can download a ton of different skills, if you will, which can just completely extend the capabilities of OpenClaw. Video frames, this is pretty cool. You could probably go get a YouTube video, download it, extract some frames out of it, get some screenshots, whatever. Oh yeah, watch this YouTube video for me and explain it to me. It can go to this YouTube video, get the transcript. Let's say there's probably a transcript getter or whatever, and it can assess this and give it back to you. For example, a news summary. It gets news from public RSS feeds for different news sources, summarizes it. So there's cool things. Again, some are little, some are really big. This, for example, this is probably really cool for crypto people. Obviously, we'll be looking at this. You know, I'm gonna favorite it just in case. I know this is stock market. It's ain't quite crypto, but you know, this is cool stuff here. So again, it's got its own calculations for RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands, volume weighted average price, ATR. It goes to get Yahoo fans. So we don't really want to. Let's look up crypto. I want to see actually. See what it can do with crypto. Is there a crypto, quote unquote crypto? Polymarket, query pro market prediction markets with the CLI. This is pretty cool. So you can go and communicate. Binance integration, complete Binance integration, world's largest crypto exchange. Trade. You can trade exactly with OpenClaw. Now again, this is probably something we'll look at. Again, while we're doing stuff, let's say in 6 streams time when we're making our own crypto trader. Because again, a lot of my first few streams in this series will be setting up OpenClaw, figuring it out, what does it do, and I do aim to have at least one stream where we together are going to be trying to vibe create a trading bot. I don't know the success of this, but we're going to try anyway. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be using real money for that, because you know it's probably going to get stuff a lot wrong quite often. Crypto tools, it just gets a bunch of data. So again, there's a ton of stuff related to crypto as well here, which is again what we want. So that's pretty cool. I actually do want to click through some of these because this is so yeah, brilliant. We'll read through some of this in a bit. Again, when we actually go and install it. So again, this is the integration we'll look at in a second. Session manager, I believe this might be persistent memory. This is the browser stuff as well. So it can run its own dedicated browser profile that you can go and just read through anything. So agent only browser. So again, this is headless. So what headless means is you can't click through things, or headless, like headerless, but it's not headless, it's headless. Basically headless, it's like you can run a browser without having to open it into your computer and like actually click things. You can operate through the browser programmatically, and this is what the OpenClaw I reckon will be probably doing. Is it can functionally open up tabs, open up X, open up Google, search things, open up YouTube, pull transcripts, do this sort of stuff, right? So that's kind of the this is what makes it so extensible, is you can operate on any website, which is going to be pretty interesting. So you can actually open up, so for example, you can prompt the status of the browser and stuff like that, and you can also disable it as well if you're insecure, or if it's unsecured, if you will. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff there. We don't need to read that. Integration. I'll quickly go over this. I think that's probably the last thing I'll go through in terms of the OpenClaw before we go through what it can do in terms of X posts, and then we'll install it. I know it's been 45 minutes and you've been waiting eagerly. Oh, I want to install it so badly. No. All right. We need to go through this. All right. So this is, again, probably one of the last things I want to go through quickly. Is what you can actually, it's integrated with, right? So this is chat providers. This is the chat system. This is where, like I said, you can go outside, go on Telegram. Oh, Clawbot or OpenClaw. Can you, I don't know, make me a coffee when I get home? Let's say your mug's already there. Again, I'm not saying it's going to pick up a mug for you or anything like that, but, you know, it can do so, you know, through Telegram. So it's got WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Teams, iMessage on both of these. It's got web chat. Now, this is a big thing as well. It not only can you just use already made stuff, it has its own hosted, it's got its own hosted web chat. So this is something it already makes. It's already made, and it comes, I believe, probably pre-installed, I'd imagine. So you can go to localhost web chat or whatever it's going to be, and you can chat to it through a website. You don't have to use you don't have to use WhatsApp or anything of that sort. You can use something that's already been pre-made, right? AI models, this is what you can integrate with. So it's got Anthropic, like I said, Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini. It does have Grok. Minimax, I believe, is for voices. Minstrel, I believe, is photos and stuff like that, or generating photos. DeepSeek is another big one. Hugging Face, again, open source models. Local ones, I actually want to click this because this is what we'll be setting up. So we'll try and read the documentation for this as well in a bit. Productivity, again, it's got tons. It has access to tons of things here. Again, Obsidian and Notion, if you're someone who might journal trades and stuff. Trello, Kanban boards. Stuff like that. GitHub, obviously, a very big one. Again, this is probably a very big one as well if you're trying to generate its own skills. It can probably use GitHub. You can use GitHub locally as well. You don't have to push to GitHub remote. You can use it locally for version control, but GitHub's very, very, very good as well. Obviously, if you're someone who's trying to get into understanding programming stuff, GitHub's very useful for version control and things like that, and seeing changes. So it's very good for the OpenClaw to have access to that as well, so that it can manage its own skills if you are trying to make some music. It's got Spotify music playback control, pretty cool. Things like that. This is very cool as well. This is again on the idea that not just having a closed box system for the computer to generate its own stuff and have cool stuff within itself. Internet of Things, as it says, I actually didn't realize. Internet of Things, people might be very interested in smart homes, right? So generate smart lighting with Philips Hue. I believe there's other ones as well, where you can control lights from your phone, let's say. Smart mattress, never heard that one before. Home Assistant is a big one, I believe. You can install it. I think it might come pre-installed some Samsung or Android, I should say, devices. You might be, I don't know if it's on iOS. I actually really don't know. Haven't really looked at it too much. But this is a big hub, not only for lights, but you can integrate it with a lot more things than just lights. So it's good that it's connected with those sorts of things where OpenClaw can communicate with a lot more than just lights, which is very, very useful. This is obviously... this tool automation part is probably very key for generating your own stuff, right? So this is going to be what's used if you just give it a very bare bones. Oh, go get the latest crypto article about Michael Saylor. It can go to the browser, you know, go to the browser control, go to the browser, find it, you know, give it to you. Canvas, I believe this is Canvas in terms of the browser Canvas, right? So I actually don't know the okay, but it has Mac Canvas. Oh, right. Okay, that's pretty cool. I know the canvas of the browser. I don't know if the Mac had anything like that. Voice transcribe, interesting. I don't know. I know a lot of people have had it integrated with 11 Labs and stuff like that. Obviously, it had Minimax, I believe, is voice system, just like 11 Labs, I believe. I might be wrong on that. Yeah, this is what I thought. Okay, yeah, cool. So this is already a Claw Hub. So these integrations, these are a mix between Claw Hub and OpenClaw itself. I'll read the chat in a second. I see some chat over there. Gmail, publish and subscribe. I believe that is what that stands for. Right, okay, yeah, cool. So you can watch for emails and you can also send emails out. That's very cool. And that's another thing as well. It's got webhooks integrated. So I'm not sure about WebSocket integration, but I'm sure there's a Claw Hub WebSocket integration. WebSockets are very big, especially with Polymarket. I know it mentioned the CLI for Polymarket, but I would I don't know the speed on the CLI versus connecting directly with its WebSocket system. So if you are someone who does trade Polymarket and has ever looked into bots before, I believe it normally goes through the WebSockets of Polymarket because they are pretty open. I believe. I don't know if it goes through. I don't know if the CLI is a optimum method to go through. Either way, we've got webhooks as well. So again, talking about Gmail, things like that. Cron jobs, like I said, you can schedule tasks 8 a.m. Communicate with my coffee machine, make me a coffee, right? This sort of stuff. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is Claw Hub again. This is some Claw Hub stuff. Yeah, so this is like going to Minstrel, for example. This is going to other image generation models out there. But this is the thing about it. So it's a degrees of separation away from the AI models itself, right? Again, with Claude Code, it was mainly you can only use the Anthropic API system or only Anthropic URL API, right? What Olama did then was it separated that, and if you've ever looked at Olama before, it's also got Claude Code, but you can use local models. Same with this, is kind of not that exact system, but this is very open where it's independent of the AI model you use, right? So Claude Code was very, very kind of gridlocked on only using Opus, whatever it may be, from Claude themselves, or Anthropic, I should say. But with OpenClaw, you don't have to. Even though, obviously, OpenClaw, ClaudeBot, I know it's not ClaudeBot anymore, but the idea that, it's related to Claude, right? You don't have to. Again, we saw this already. You can go to, and this is what I'm going to be trying to do, is using my host PC's Olama to set up. And obviously, that's why I have the model system to try and set up. I do have this already pasted on my own text file on the client machine, which is this virtual machine here. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't actually set it up yet with a local model through a VM. So we'll see how that goes too well. Social, it has integration already with Twitter and whatnot, which is very, very good. Obviously, if you're trying to get started quickly. Make a OpenClaw system, which, I don't know. Okay, skills not found, never mind. It summarizes X content and see what the sentiment for crypto Twitter is. Let's say that's an example. So there's if you can think of it, you can probably have some sort of integration with it with AI. And as you scroll down, we've got other things. So there's companion apps if you want to try and get related to things like Android. I'm actually interested in I've never really looked into the actual system like this. Okay, so it's basically like. So there is WebSocket, so there probably is WebSocket integration anyway. So there's actually the gateway system where you can basically let OpenClaw listen on different ports, and I can imagine Android probably got its own gateway client, if you will, where it can connect to OpenClaw, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so again, native support Windows. Again, like I'd say, a lot of people do host their OpenClaw on Mac. Again, if you've got a Mac Mini, you don't want to install Linux. It's kind of a, I believe it's a Unix system, right? Or Unix-based system. That's why Mac and Linux can have similar command line controls, if you will. Windows is a bit more difficult. That's why it recommends WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. Linux, it's just easier, right? So this is why I have it in a Ubuntu virtual machine. Again, if you're using a VPS, for example, you probably want to use Linux. If you have your own machine, you can install Mac, but if you've got your own machine which isn't a Mac, it's hard to install Mac on a non-Mac machine. You're probably going to want to install Linux. Again, Ubuntu, this is why I have installed Ubuntu. I'd probably want to use Arch myself. That is really cringe. People say I use Arch, by the way. I don't want to get involved in that. All right, but the reason I'm using Ubuntu, I want to show it in a very simple as possible. Ubuntu is the place you want to go, right? For a simple setup, right? And obviously there's the community. I've gone through as much as possible. I've tried my very hardest to go through as much as possible with integration, system like that. So we'll quickly have a glance through related to crypto, what you can do with OpenClaw. And I think, I thought I was going to spend 10 minutes talking about OpenClaw, and I didn't know what to say. I'm very happy we've been able to go through this at this time. Let me go to the balance chat. Actually, can't see some people talking. Let me scroll up quickly. Period high. I built an OpenClaw agent that gives the alerts on the coin price movements, and it will give the analysis of the chart. Very cool. Yeah, that's kind of the idea of what we want to kind of look at. Again, a lot of the later streams I want to do is I'm not very good at vibe coding. I prefer coding some of myself. It's just easier to control and understand what's going on. However, we will try to do some sort of vibe coding to relate it to crypto people, because again, this series, the idea and the goal for it is to go from 0 with OpenClaw to then having it installed, understanding the systems it can use, understanding how to connect it with WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever it may be, and then also going on to the more crypto side of things, which is, can it generate its own trading skill? Can it generate its own Binance trading skill? Can we trade through Binance? Which we saw with ClawHub. It already has Binance integration, which is very easy for us, but can we generate our own systems? Which is obviously what we do. So that's very cool, though. That's kind of an example of what I want to be doing later on. Requires some funding, as I am a student, so I built it from scratch. Okay, cool. Hey bro, what streaming software are you using? We use Prism right now, so we can do multi-streaming. It's basically OBS, but it's got some other systems on it. But in terms of using, I know the Linux streaming system isn't very great. So for example, even people who use Linux, I know when they stream, they use a Windows system. So I'm actually in the virtual machine here. So I'm actually not streaming through Linux, even though you can see it. I'm just capturing the virtual machine as a window. So I'm still streaming on a Windows system, but I'm using Linux as the virtual machine. So I'm using Prism. Prism, it's good. It's not as, I don't know the open source. I think there is a GitHub for it in terms of if you're interested in open source systems. It's not as open source as OBS, I don't believe. I'm not too sure exactly on that, but it's like OBS, but it's got some iterations upon it where it's got kind of extensibility. It's also got multi-streaming for it as well. Yeah. Anyway, so that's I'll try and catch up with the chat. So this is some tweets. Just want to show it in relation to trading and whatnot. It's quite small. I'm going to try and zoom this in so you can see it a bit better on the stream. As an example, again, I ignore them. Whenever I see this, I ignore the numbers. They're just yapping, probably. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, I made £1 quintillion. Oh, I made $1 quintillion doing this one simple AI trick. It's like, shut up. I'm not buying whatever you're selling. I'm not buying it. But as an example, people are making Polymarket bots. There's tons. I've seen tons of this on my X as well. I get a lot of tech and crypto stuff on my feed, and I see this all the time. So yeah, this is a very. I think this is one of the surface level, one of the very surface level Polymarket systems, which is when the yes and no when there's that kind of an arbitrage between yes or no, and I believe it says right here, when the yes and no price doesn't add up to 1. So basically, again, every bot and their grandma is doing this, right? This is one of the most. If you're making a Polymarket bot, if you're making it in Python, I wouldn't recommend doing it in Python anymore. Do it in Rust or any other. Again, do it in any compiled language. Rust is probably the easiest one to do because it's got WebSocket packages out there. Yeah, it doesn't matter. When the price doesn't add up to 1, there is an arbitrage there, and you can do it, and you can buy both and sell them, and whatever. It's very simple, but people do it, and people make money. And with this sort of system, though, you need quite a high amount of capital to make it profitable. Yeah, again, it's not actually doing anything. It's just you could do that. Again, this isn't a great example of the supreme intelligence of OpenClaw. You can make, as this guy mentions, you can do this. People have been doing this without AI. This is a binary thing. You check to see if yes and no adds up to 1. If it doesn't add up to 1, you buy, and then you sell it. It's that simple. So obviously, this isn't a great example, but still, OpenClaw programmed it itself, which is the key takeaway. And then this is a UI. I believe this was I don't think this is a very good. I don't know if this UI is a vibe coded AI, or I think I've seen something like this before. But again, this is the thing. It's got its own. AI understanding of websites and stuff. So, for example, this is probably something you could vibe code with decent succession. I would recommend. Again, a lot of my vibe coding, I've messed around with different languages which aren't as big. Rust is probably better than some other things, because again, it's a lot more later on it's a lot more knowledgeable in the AI's mind, quote unquote. Again, obviously the model can be dated. But websites and TypeScript and running these sorts of things, Node, JS, these are very, very big things which the AI will know plenty of. So you can generate, if you're going to be generating stuff, you probably want to be doing websites, and this is probably a web app for the trading bots, this sort of stuff. So that I thought was pretty cool to look at. This is, again, I just wanted to show an example. People using this very often for trading. Another Polymarket thing, again, this is probably within the same area, which is the arbitrage of yes and no. Probably not very big. But nonetheless, though, the main thing, no coding skill needed, which is, again, the main focus I want to say for this, which is you can vibe code with this. And not only can you vibe code and then you have to compile it yourself and then run it, OpenClaw can vibe code this, set it up in its own skill directory, run it itself, and then reiterate on it. So it's a very kind of closed loop system, which you don't really have to get involved in, which is very good for someone watching who is interested in this and doesn't know any programming. You can get involved in this. And again, I don't know the success rate of vibe coding. I'm not very good at vibe coding myself because I can't be bothered with it. I'd rather do it myself. I find it harder. I find it more tedious to prompt and then go through it and then prompt again. It's can't bother. But with a good model, again, I'm not one to talk. I use local models. I'm not paying, right? But if you're using Claude, this is like, if you're using Opus, this is like creme de la creme. This will be giving you good results. So again, the main thing, no coding needed. This is a closed loop. You ask it, can you generate this for me? You leave it for ages to do its thing, and it will hopefully generate the right response, and it will give you this system, which is the main thing for people, especially in crypto, who are interested in trying to make trading systems and whatnot, and don't know how to do it, and don't know how to program. This is your answer, in quote unquote. Another thing, again, this is more trading view area. I don't want to pop the video out. I'm not watching 36 minutes. But AI agent analyzing chart and executing trades, right? This is very, very cool. Again, he's kind of got it in the background there. You can kind of see. Let's see if we can skip through a bit. Hopefully the audio's not playing too loud. I don't think it captures it. As you can see, the terminals here. This is MoonDev. I actually like this guy. This guy's very good for. I've seen this guy quite often for making trading bots, especially for sniper bots. I've seen this guy before. This guy's pretty good. This is his own video. So he's got his own. If I full screen this quickly, what is this? OpenClaw. So yeah, this is the OpenClaw chat. Like I was saying, actually, you don't have to use WhatsApp, you don't have to use Telegram, anything like this. There is also its own locally hosted web chat where you can talk to it and you can ask it. Look, you can ask it to go, all right, cool, boom, go trade, go do this. You can just ask it. You don't have to get involved. And this is obviously the main thing about it. So if we skip through, I want to see if there's a UI which says anything. Okay, cool. So it's got its own Dev AI. So this is a Pine. So if you ever used TradingView plugins before or indicators, Pine script is what it uses, right? So it seems like it's generated its own Pine script. So maybe what he's asked, I'm inferring. I haven't watched this video. Maybe he's asking, can you generate me a TradingView indicator, and then it's uploaded to GitHub. Like I said, GitHub is very, very important. If you're someone who's trying to get involved with OpenClaw, I would recommend familiarizing yourself with GitHub, because this is kind of the place to go for version control. Again, as he's seen here, he's probably asked the AI to upload the script to GitHub in its own directory, or in a repository, I should say, and obviously this or the other. Another random one, which I thought was pretty cool to look at. Again, I don't know the functionality too much of this. He's got a drone control system. Your OpenClaw AI can now control drones via Mavlink on Dimensional, which is very, very cool. So this, I thought it looked cool. I didn't really care too much for the actual fundamentals of this, but it does look pretty cool. And you can see the understanding of the longitude, latitude of all this, and altitude. Very, very cool. It just looked cool. Yeah, I thought I'd show it off. Last one before we finally go. It's been an hour. We can finally go into the how to set up. Right, how to set up. We have this guy. Hopefully it's not playing. Let's mute it quickly. Let's just script for him. So this is probably using AI models like whatever video animation there is. Probably, I don't know, Minstrel. Audio through Minmax. I don't know. I've never actually generated a video through anything. What is this? Localhost. So this is actually a localhost browser editing system. 11 allows for the audio. Perplexity, it seems, for maybe the actual video generation. But you can see, music is generated through certain areas and then brought into its own editor. So this is pretty cool. So you can, again, it requires certain things which haven't really been done before and don't have Claude Hub skills. You might need to get involved in figuring out how this is programmed and figuring out how this should look and work, because this is something quite interesting. This is something quite involved in terms of the setup, right? So it looks pretty cool. Again, this probably requires some sort of setup, but again, you can ask OpenClaw and it can reiterate upon itself and make this work, right? Anyways, that is the last of the tweets. Finally, I can go into the setup, right? So I do want to bring up this quickly. So basically, this is kind of the list. Can I zoom in on this? Okay, this is not what I want to do. I don't know. It's made the browser big, whatever. This is, like I've already talked about, this is what I've already talked about. You need your own AI provider, unless you've got your own system, your own computer, which has a good GPU, and you can maybe use and host your own local AI models, which have a decent amount of parameters, which can actually function pretty nicely. I've got a mid-range AI hosted, I think I've got GPT OSS 20 billion, which is, it's decent, right? It's probably not the best. I mean, maybe there's a guy in here who's AI, who's a good vibe coding. He's like, that's awful. Don't use that one. Use this one. I'm not paying, right? That's all I'll say. So you need AI product. We've already talked about this. This is kind of what you want. This is potentially, you probably don't need this. If you're on Ubuntu or on Linux as a whole, you can install these, and depending on what system you're on, might already come pre-installed. Probably not, especially with Ubuntu. But this, most of these will probably install. If not, you can do install NetTools, for example, and whatnot. You can also do build. I believe it's Build Essentials. Let me go check. Yeah, so this will, I don't know exactly what this gives you, but I'm pretty sure it gives you the most. Yeah, so it gives you a C and C++ compiler, Make, which is obviously very useful for potentially OpenClaw as well. So again, this isn't, most of what you're probably generating with OpenClaw is going to be websites, JavaScript. This is why Node is the most important one. This is called Node.js. Let me go to the website. Now, this might start to get a bit techie now and whatnot, so you might want to be careful. This is basically, I believe it might be the V8 engine kind of hosted locally. So it's not through a browser. You can run JavaScript on your computer, and it can kind of interface with your own computer. This is what OpenClaw needs to run, right? So you're going to want to be installing this. If you're on Ubuntu and you're setting up for the first time, you do want Node Version Manager, right? What this will do is allow you to install this Node. This is just an easy way of installing Node, right? You scroll down. Where's the install? There it is. So you just run this command. I ran this before the stream to get this system set up. You run this, and then you do nvm install. I don't know if it's where this is going to be. Okay, well, there's a command. It's like nvm install. I can't middle mouse click for some reason, so let's just scroll by that. Where's the nvm command? Usage, here we go. Here it is, yeah. So you could do nvm install. You could just do --lts, which is kind of the latest one, the stable one. So you need Node. This is what you need. So this is why I made it the first most important one in this list, right? This is the most important thing you need. Again, Git for version control, whether it be locally or through GitHub, like we saw with the MoonDev guy. He had his PineScript get uploaded to GitHub. So this is very important. This is quite a common one. Curl, you need this installed. You actually probably need this installed before Node.js, because this you require. If we go to the install again, this is. You need this command to install. I believe it's, or I don't know. I believe it's already pre-installed on most systems. If not, you'd use maybe something like NetTools potentially. I'm an amateur, guys. I'm an amateur. I think it comes pre-installed, right? So you maybe not need to install it. You need to have it anyway. If you're on a system which doesn't have it installed, try getting it installed in however way you can. Node, very important. You need these three. Maybe even just these two, right? Don't necessarily need this. Just install Ubuntu NetTools or Build Tools or Build Essentials, I should say. Very, very, very basic. In case, it depends on what you're doing with OpenClaw. If you're doing more advanced stuff, you might need a C++ compiler for local apps. Then you will need these. You probably won't need this if you're doing just general stuff, right? That's why I said potentially. And then lastly, the AI provider. So that's the prerequisites for this. And if you go to OpenClaw, it'll probably say that itself. I don't know exactly. Oh, so actually, no, this installs Node.js as well. Never mind, this is already taking care of it. You don't even need to install it before anything. I don't want to install. You don't actually. I'm gonna keep this big. Is that on the screen? Good. Let me make sure. I'll just alt tab from it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's good. Okay. So yeah. It already installed Node.js, but so that's pretty cool. So let's just go to the home directory quickly and I guess run this. Now, what I will preface with. I haven't installed this already on this system. I've installed this on a Docker on my Windows to test. I've actually never installed this on Linux. So we're going to be holding hands with each other here doing this. Now, I aim to do this within 10 minutes. I want to show you the install process, show you the basics, and then that's the stream. So I've given you the explanation as to what it is, what you can do, and all sorts of stuff, and then the very basic install. The next stream, again, I'm going to spend an extra 10 minutes maybe. I know I've spent quite a while on this stream. The next stream is going to be going into a bit more depth into the setup of actual OpenClaw, using it, and kind of seeing what you can do with it. So with that, let's actually run this command. So let's see. I don't know if it needs sudo, so let's just run it. So git installed. It's now installing OpenClaw. Obviously, it needs git as well, so it can clone OpenClaw. So again, this is very handholdy. I actually didn't know this. I don't know why I didn't read this. So this is actually less installed than you actually need. This installs Node for you. This installs everything for you. Git already for you. I think curl on Linux especially, I think it's already pre-installed on systems. So you actually don't need to install any of those sort of stuff. But again, yeah, depending. So this is installing. Let's leave this now. So this should be a pretty easy. Again, this is made for people who don't know how to do anything on the system. So I'm pretty sure if we run into any issues, I'm pretty sure I can figure out. If not, we'll look it up. Again, this is the main thing, and this is probably if you are interested in OpenClaw, and I'm gonna do this by yourself. Just look it up. You know, some people are like, oh, I don't know what to do. Life is learning from not failure, but you try to do something, it doesn't work, it doesn't go correctly. You then look up the solutions step by step until you come to the outcome. You just look it up. Oh, how to run Olama locally with OpenClaw. Here we go. So here, for example, CLI providers. I want to go to Olama. I want to figure out how to do Olama. How do we do it? Let's see. As we're waiting for the install, is that going to click? Is that going to work? Here we go. So here it is. Okay, so we just need base URL. So what do we do here? Let's see. So we install Olama. We just sign in with it all. Or we don't need to sign in. We just need to install our own system. Okay, cool. So it's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure. Now the difference is I'm on a virtual machine where my host PC has the AI installed. And this is a virtual machine. So I probably might do this. However, the this IP will need to change. But I don't think it's... Here we go. Yeah, so this is... Yeah, so we'll need to change this. So we'll just run their commands. Because again, this is trying to run through the very basics of what people... Here it is. So here we go. Cool. Onboarding. So this is okay. Til's still in beta. So again, security. Yes, exactly. This is the main thing. This is what we kind of talked about a lot with early on, which is it's very important to have high amount of security when it comes to OpenClaw. Whether that be port forwarding, firewall policies, only having certain IP addresses at a time accepted. It's a lot more pain to go through accepting every single IP address of each and every device. It's so much safer because you don't want any IP to try to access. It's a lot easier to have a firewall where I don't want any device being able to access my OpenClaw, apart from the very specific IP addresses which I allow it. You can look this up. You can go whitelist IP firewall policy Ubuntu, let's say. I think it's like UFW or whatever it is exactly. So you can do this. It's a lot safer to do it that way, and most of the security will come from allowing certain IP addresses through. You could probably disable every IP address apart from your own personal one and not have a password. I would not recommend that, but it's doable. Here it is. Yeah. So yeah, perfect. So this is the recommended baseline allowance. So allow list. So what allow is, this is kind of like the same thing with a firewall, only allowing certain devices. So again, trust boundaries between. Here it is, yeah. So, for example, the host of ClawBot and the user, different systems, preferably. Obviously, that makes sense. Again, I'm on it, and this is a virtual machine. This is, again, if you're going to run this on your own PC, bare bones, you need a virtual machine. It's simple. Yeah, Sandbox, same thing as a virtual machine. So, again, in terms of Gmail, you know, basically, like, don't just give it willy-nilly your actual Gmail and just raw dog it. You know, it's, yeah, you just make sure it's safe. You can actually it actually can audit its own security. That's pretty cool. I understand. Yes. Okay, let's just do a quick start. Simple as. So model auth Olama. It's actually pretty cool. It does its own thing. So yeah, Olama. And actually, I can do my own thing. So I think this is I actually have. I don't know why. Okay, they're cool. So this is the IP again. This is local IP. You're not going to get anything from this. You naughty hackers. You're not getting anything from this. I think that's. Hopefully that's copies it to clipboard. Perfect. I believe that should be it. Local. And it's got all my models. That's perfect, actually. That's really, really good. Like I said, I've never actually set this up properly through a virtual machine. It actually has all my stuff. So let's just do the... Oh, okay. Well, I'm an amateur. It's all the context didn't work with that. Let's just do the base latest. Okay, cool. So you can select this. I don't want to do any of this for now. Okay, cool. So you can skip. So these are all the accounts you can connect it with. That's pretty cool, actually. So it's got teams. It's got so much. Again, this is it for like the main people. I don't want to do. I think I'll just do skip. Search provider. Let's just do Brave search, I guess. Oh, I need an API key. I don't have one. Okay, skills, I guess. Okay, so this is what we want to do. I don't care about all this. Again, I want to do this correctly. But again, you can go through all this you want. If you yourself, what you think you want, what you might want, you can go do this. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yes, let's just obviously allow GitHub. Oh, it's space. Okay, I'm stupid. There's tons of stuff. Oh, MCP, model context protocol, I believe it is. This is obviously for coding as well. I think we'll probably want this if we're going to be doing coding stuff. We don't really want most of this. This is some light stuff. What is this? No. I'm interested in that Spotify thing, actually. What is this? Lemon Labs. This is pretty cool. We'll have a look at this later on. I'm just going to quickly go through some of these. I will go through these later on. You know, in the next... Oh, yeah, we'll actually want Claw Hub. Oh, that's pretty cool. We'll go through this, you know, next stream as well. I do want to keep this... I don't want to spend more than the next 5-10 minutes. I want to end the stream soon because I've gone through it quite a lot. I think that's kind of the very basic on what for now. I don't really want too much going on. We can obviously install it later on, so I'll do that. Yeah, please, I want to install this. Let's just do npm because we have npm. So, okay, we need to install brew. That's fine. So we can run this again. Oh, it's got its own thing. Oh, huge. I guess I'll copy this then. Okay, let's just do the curl and then operate it, and then we can pipe it into bash. I'll copy this quickly. Copy. Is this gonna paste it weird? It is. Okay, let's while we're waiting, we'll do this quickly. Actually, let me just instead. Let me do a different thing. Okay, no. I just tried to install Go Places. I don't have any of this. Okay, I haven't installed any of this stuff. So no, I don't want any of this. Hooks. What do we have? Let's see. Boot.md on gateway startup. I guess. Oh yeah, so this is pretty cool. Yeah, we want this setting up memory. I guess we can do a boot. We'll just skip it for now. We've got a couple of this. So okay, gateway's installed. Cool. Hatch your bot. All right, hatch it in the terminal. Cool. So now we're running. Hopefully. And while we're waiting, I want to try and let's just do this, and then we can. I just want to quickly set up. I think we should do that. I'm pretty sure, and then we can do this, and then I think this will work. Hopefully. Okay, we need sudo. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, here we go. We have it set up. So that was the setup. It took about 5-10 minutes. I don't know why I'm all caps. I guess we can ask it hello. We'll see what it does for hello. So I guess it'll just hopefully hopefully it'll communicate properly with my... Perfect. So this is OpenClaw setup. Very, very cool. So that was the basic setup. Again, I haven't gone through every package. We haven't installed every package. We haven't installed too many packages. I haven't running a very simple process of setting it up. So I'm very impressed. I did set up, again, my temp files. I was expecting... okay, we have to... We have that. I don't want to do anything with that path. We'll do it later. I'll do it before next year. We don't need that right now. We don't need to install anything like that. But that is the setup. That is pretty much it. Again, I'm not going to talk for it a bunch. I'm interested in seeing... Will can ask it. Well, actually, I don't know if the GPT... how to get to... will it know? I don't think it'll know. Because it's a different model. We'll see. Again, I'm very impressed with the setup so far. Okay, it's showing the thinking. But I'm very impressed with the setup. I did set up some of a... I did obviously have my my temp to see. I thought I'd have to set this up manually, but, you know, we didn't have to do anything manually, which is very, very nice. So this is a whole lot of yap. So obviously just thinking if it can find it. Again, I don't actually expect it to know on this because, again, the model I'm currently running OpenClaw on isn't very big or isn't very great. It's like 20 billion parameters or something like that. And I also don't think it'll know about anything of this sort. So we'll probably just have to go to the web UI platform. This is a bunch of... So this is tools for the AI itself. So channels, I imagine this would be where we'd imagine the web UI to be. Well, actually, we could probably just search web UI. Web chat, here it is. Oh no, this is... Here it is, yeah. Browser control UI. This is what we want. So it's actually on 8. So this is... So I think we can just do localhost here. And what port was that? Let's see. I want to see if it's set up quickly. And again, this, I would imagine it's pretty set up because, yeah, here it is. Perfect. So, alright, well, we'll do this a later date. But this is the UI it sets up, which is very, very nice, actually. But so we don't have to talk to it through certain things. Yeah, okay. Well, let's just close this for now. How do we? I imagine I can just close out that. And then we have our own OpenClaw CLI. And then this gives us help and if we can run it and whatnot. So we have the gateway, which obviously we need to do if we want to set the chat up. So we need to go to the paste the token to actually allow it to talk to our OpenClaw system. But we can do that in the next stream, I think, because we've got OpenClaw set up very, very basically, very, very basic with a very small... a very, very small, system going on. We'll set this up obviously next stream. We'll set up some of the tools next stream, have a look at it. But I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to make sure we've done most of it. So that is, I believe, OpenClaw. This is the first stream. Obviously, this is quite a long stream, but done nonetheless. So we'll see how this series progresses into the future. I'm very excited to look at this next. I think it'll be next Thursday. I think we're trying to do this on Thursdays or something like that. And looking at OpenClaw on Thursdays. But I think that's most of the stuff. We've gone through what you can do, some of the precautions and things like this for OpenClaw. Next stream, the target is going to be setting up everything, the web chat and whatnot, installing certain things. I'll probably make a new Telegram or a new Signal. I'll make a new account, let's say a Discord account, and then we can look at the integration with that. And then we'll see what we can do with it. I'll obviously prepare it. Again, I'm going off the top of my head here. I'm going to prepare the agenda for next stream before so. But other than that, that is the first OpenClaw stream on Binance especially. So hopefully this is a good content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. I think this is hopefully very, very, very valuable. And hopefully people watch this stream back as well, because this isn't kind of just aims to be... a one-done stream where people don't really watch it back. This is kind of a all the way through 1 hour and 20, I should say, or 1 hour 25 stream where you can watch this back and go from the start of not really knowing what's going on to the very basics. Again, like I said, the very basic setup. All we did was install it, right? So that was the goal for the stream. I think we've done it pretty well. So next stream, again, a bit more functionality, a bit more setup for OpenClaw and some of the integrations like Discord, and then we can do some research on how we can start to use this to trade for us on Binance. So we'll see how well that stream goes. So thank you all of you. Really appreciate you joining the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed, like I said. I'll be back on Thursday for this. I'll obviously be back on my other scheduled streams, Saturday, Monday, potentially Wednesday as well if we have a quiz stream. I'll be back on those days, obviously, for the charts and or quiz. But for Thursday, I believe we might be doing this next Thursday, or I'll be doing this next Thursday. So if you don't care about anything I do apart from this, come back next Thursday, same time, same place. And you can see the continuation of our OpenClaw setup. So thank you so much. Good luck if you're setting it up yourself and whatnot. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.